Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Little Art Studio podcast. My name is Ashlyn McKibben. I'm your host. I'm here with Ganymede today at 27 Club, located in Asheville, North Carolina.
Hello. Hi.
So we're going to kind of deep dive into everything drag and everything that you do creative. If you want to go ahead and tell us who you are, what you do.
Yes, well, my name's Ganymede. I'm a drag queen, DJ, artist, creator, seamstress. What else? Overall bad bitch, we'll say that.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So where in this journey, what started it? What was the first thing that you started creatively?
So I look at my life, honestly, like pre-drag, post-drag.
Okay.
And when I was kind of freshly out of college, got this shitty degree, whatever.
What was your degree in?
It was in new media. It's not a shitty program. It's just like I had a lot of expectations going into college that this is going to be instrumental in my success as an artist. Yeah. And obviously it's very common that doesn't happen. So I was like, okay, in this really weird space afterwards, working in restaurants, not that there's anything wrong with it. I actually learned a lot more working in food service than I did in college, as far as like soft skills that like I think really shape a person. But I was DJing. I started DJing at local clubs here, doing like $20, $25 gigs. Ugh. Ridiculous. But I wanted to try it and it was fun. Mm-hmm. And I got free drinks, so I was like, let's do it. It was the summertime. And through that, I was able to get more like regular bookings. And I started considering the stage I was on and what I wanted to present visually. Mm-hmm. And I'd always been considered myself like a gender non-binary, kind of in the middle, fluid person. So I started evolving that and referencing different stuff fashion-wise and makeup and really starting from no knowledge, looking fucking crazy.
Can I ask how old you were when this started?
Probably 22 or 23. I'm 28 now.
Okay.
So this was, I think around 2016, 2017, if that math is right.
Okay.
And that, a few years into that is when I kind of started really getting serious about it and building more of my skill set as far as like mixing as a DJ and the catalog I was using, the kind of music I wanted to play. And obviously the image was a big part for me. Mm-hmm. But I was always like, I don't want to do drag. Drag is too much. drag is like, no, I'm different. I'm fluid and and I was a huge fan of drag. Yeah. I just didn't think it was for me, or I didn't think I could do it well. Uh-huh. I don't know.
I feel like it takes a wild amount of courage just to say one day, okay, I'm gonna do. Like, what is that moment like in your brain where you decide on actually? I
remember it. Okay, so maybe not the specific moment, but it was during COVID when we were all locked down and shit, and I was fortunate enough to like have a lot of free time, and so I bought a sewing machine. I was watching YouTube videos. I was like, I want to try making garments. Like, I want to try making things that fit my body. Because I'm also a very tall person. I'm 6'3" out of drag. With heels and hair, I'm through the roof. It's crazy. I'm like literally 7 feet tall. So it's hard for me to find things that fit. So that's why I taught myself how to sew. And then from there, it was just more like, I want to learn the tips and tricks of drag and apply it to my face so that I just get better at makeup, or I get better. And then eventually, over time, I started creating this thing, and I would go out. So this is around like 2021 when things just started opening up. Yeah. And I don't want to sound shady, but it was also a time when a lot of people weren't working, and like a lot of the established nightlife acts and stuff like that were just not happening. Right. So there was a
kind of a low.
Yeah, and I viewed it as a market opportunity. Right. I was like, this is my time to show up to places in drag and get booked. Yeah. Which is kind of like, at the time, it was a little, you know what I mean? Like,
so you were just walking into clubs basically and saying, book me now.
Oh, no, I wasn't even asking. I was just like, I would just show up to parties in drag. And not even, like, nightclubs, like their first opening night, I'd come in drag looking crazy because I hadn't been doing it that long. Yeah. But I remember this one time.
And then you would just perform
No, not even. I just drank.
Just be there.
Yeah, I would just
a
walk
persona,
around.
yeah.
And I had friends there, so that was a great like social lubricant because then I was able to meet like the people who are booking me now. And I'm so grateful for it too, because I don't know, it's just putting myself out there really is the thing. And I didn't necessarily do it with the intention of getting booked, but I did it with the intention of being seen.
Right.
And I think that's something that gets lost with a lot of not just new performers, but professionals in general or people who are wanting to break into an industry. Mm-hmm. There's this whole concept of like, yes, paid internships and it's important to, exposure can't pay the bills, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But if you're in the right place for you, it is worth just showing up and doing the work. Like,
yeah, it is. I mean,
sense.
We're still running on that in fumes in any creative industry, I feel like, as far as kind of marketing yourself for free sometimes and doing things for free. Those things do kind of, there's a trickle down effect. Mm-hmm. I've had things where, I've shot people for free and then those people will turn around and book me on, thousands and thousands of dollars of gigs just because, they saw
made the connection.
Yeah, they wouldn't have made that connection without me going out on a limb and doing it.
Yeah,
So.
And you're like a personable individual. Like you're somebody who...
Yeah. And sometimes people will book you based on just your personality, which is interesting. Like, so
that's how I got booked here.
Yeah, it's trust.
Honestly, at 27 Club, that's where we're at. Here is around 2021, like that summer. This was the first recurring drag gig that I got. I host karaoke here.
Yeah.
And technically, it's not drag karaoke. Like the host could be anybody, but I just add that element. I think it makes it fun and special.
Yeah,
that,
I feel like
I'm
it's way
doing
more
it.
fun.
Yeah, it's different too. There's like that. No one else in town does what I do here. So that's the thing too. For other professionals or performers, figure out something you can do that is completely unique to your market or industry or whatever you want to call it. Like, be authentic and really. I don't know. Sometimes shit like that just happens though. It's really hard to just like, okay, I'm gonna do something different. Like.
Yeah.
Everyone's done everything already.
Yeah, I was going to say everything has been done before, but...
I don't know. I think it's just mindset. You just have to, I don't know. I'm not going to get into the fucking new age manifesting shit. I'm not even sold on it completely, but I do believe that, like, if you want something bad enough, you can get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's basically my story. From there, once I picked up those bookings, I just hit the ground running. And drag became my full-time job. And how many
nights a night are you performing or getting into drag?
Well, that's the thing too. I do mostly hosting gigs.
Okay.
Performance I love, but I do it a little bit less than I do hosting. So typically it's hard to say because again I'm a gig worker. So I have 2 recurring gigs right now. On top of that, I have like DJ spots or different drag shows in town that I'll perform at. Okay. So I'd say a good week is like 3 or 4 gigs.
Okay.
But sometimes I do need a slower like week just to get shit together.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of fucking work.
I was gonna say, so even just start to finish getting into drag, how long does that take you?
It depends on mindset. It's like it's a new year, new me, right? I'm trying to be more disciplined in like I want 2 hours.
Okay.
For me, that's like an ideal amount of time to get a really good face on. I can do it in an hour and 15, but that's a bit more rushed. Yeah. And it just depends too on like, what something might go wrong. Like today I'm trying a new foundation. It was shit. So it took me like 15 extra minutes trying to figure out what to do with it. Yeah. So I'd say 2 hours. Okay. Is pretty fair. Some queens take 3. I think that's a bit much. Yeah. Because I like to be prepared before I get ready. Like, clothes out, wig done, just hop in it. The makeup can take an hour. Me putting all this on took 10 minutes. Yeah. So it's just, and then I'm out the door.
Right. Okay. Yeah. All right. How long does it take to make your outfits? Because if you're making them by hand.
Sorry, I don't mean to be like. Okay, so this is something I'm working through too. I'm a Virgo, but I'm also very disorganized in that. Some people say that about Virgos. They're like organized, disorganized people.
Yeah, I was going to say organized chaos.
Yeah. So I'm more like, okay, I'm going to make this the night before. Yeah. And I'm just going to throw all of my energy and attention to this like.
The night before?
Yes, right. Like this I made in 3 or 4 hours like the night before the gig that I made this for. Damn. So I got in a habit when I was starting of just making something new every week. And once I started working, it was hard for me to balance the actual gig and then preparing for the next one. And like holidays like Christmas.
So you're basically creating something new almost for every.
I try to. Dang. Nowadays, I've realized that I don't need to do that because I mean I did that for a year, so I have a good closet.
Wow. Yeah.
And now I'm really focusing more on like being a bit slower and intentional with the projects because I want to get better at it, like skill wise, and maybe a bit more finished. So, what was your question again?
How long it takes to make an outfit.
It just depends. Like, yeah, this 4 hours.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Excuse me. Oh my god. I just burped. Yeah. It's just. But again, sewing is like you're cutting out a pattern, cutting out the fabric, sewing it together. It's like just connecting tubes on tubes.
Okay.
Once you learn that, you can sew a lot of stuff. There's a lot of like crazy techniques and fabric types and thread types and stuff. But I'm more of a utilitarian type where as long as it fits me nice. The look is given something, then we'll make it work.
Yeah, no, I have no concept of sewing or.
It's not hard. I have tried to make stuff for other people, and it's just not the same.
Yeah.
I don't know what other people expect when they commission a garment. And I'm not a professional sewer. I do it for myself, so it's a hobby. It's not like.
And I mean, I'm a painter, and I've done a lot of self-portrait painting. So I feel like when you paint yourself, you start learning just your face. So then, if you paint somebody else, it starts looking like your face.
It's exactly like makeup. Yeah. I've had people say, "Can you do my makeup?" I'm like, "Can I?" Because no, I've tried it before. It looked like ass. It was horrible.
I can't even imagine trying to put mascara on another human being.
No, and it's when you do it on yourself, it's literally muscle memory.
Yeah.
So that is the line between like whatever you want to call it and like professional. I feel like if you're a professional, you can deliver a service to somebody. I don't know. It's a whole thing. So I'm not a professional makeup artist. I'm not a professional sewer, but I consider what I create for myself
professional.
And yeah, like I am a professional. Whatever you want to. I don't know. Like whatever I'm doing that day.
Yeah.
Like, I can fill these different hats, and the drag element I think adds this like flair to it, and it almost gives people permission to maybe have a bit more fun or to, I don't know, it's once there's a drag queen in the room, it's like people feel a bit less awkward.
Yeah, people's walls come down a little bit.
Because it's like, I feel like I honestly absorb a lot of that, like, I don't know, that thing that people carry with them. That's, it doesn't have, I don't know, it's hard to describe.
Like attention, or, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, I do
know what you mean.
Maybe not every queen is like this, but I generally try to like connect with people.
Yeah.
And really just be myself.
I don't think every queen is like that.
Some queens are fucking complete cunts and they're awful. And I try to be, and that's no fault of their own. Maybe everyone's different.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope you don't mind me saying the
No, it's unfiltered. It's completely unfiltered.
I think that too is just learning. Like I mentioned, working in food service. That experience brought my personality out.
Yeah.
Before I worked in food service, I did not have a voice, really. I didn't know how to connect with people. And through that little framework of working, I worked in a little pizza shop. Like, I learned so much about how to talk to people.
Yeah.
That and then working with a voice coach.
Well, that's also too. It's like part of your income to
exactly.
Your personality makes you money. So
exactly.
I don't understand. I guess I don't want to say it's like cocky, but sometimes I get the vibe of drag queens like if you say hello and then they don't say hi back or something.
Girl,
I'm like, why are we
that's
doing
not doing
that?
anyone
like,
any favors.
Be nice to me.
Exactly. It's not doing anyone any favors. And if you feel like you need to act like that to make an impression or to come off as this like fabulous person,
yeah, I
it's
don't know.
dumb.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're a human being. You know, like I get that drag is supposed to. It's performative and it's this larger than life thing, but it's also, I believe that drag should be a bit more accessible than the older generation has made it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
I'm actually curious getting into that as far as the older generation of drag, kind of where we're at right now, and maybe the younger generation of drag. Like, what are you, since you're more exposed to that, kind of what does that look like right now?
Well, my exposure to it is somewhat local. Sorry, I have a nose thing. I'm not doing drugs. It's allergies or something. It's dusty in here.
I was like, we're in a garage.
Yeah. Every queen is different. So I've met some queens who've been in the game for like a decade, 2 decades, who are like super open-minded, lovely, and they embrace like the contemporary and newer concepts that I think the younger generation of drag is bringing. And also, it's not just the performers who bring it, it's just the landscape is changing because drag is becoming, and already is so mainstream with RuPaul's Drag Race and different media that highlights drag performers and talent.
Yeah.
Not just queens too, kings and non-binary, like whatever they want to call them, performers. That's a huge contributor. It's just media in general. I personally feel like, I don't know, I'm trying to, what do you want to know? Like, I'm trying to answer.
I'm kind of curious of what's kind of coming next in the drag world
Right.
that you're watching as far as like
Okay.
the younger
So
age
younger
getting
queens
into it.
are, for example, with social media, younger queens have so much information, myself included. I taught myself how to do drag through YouTube and Instagram.
I was gonna say YouTube University.
Referencing like how a lot of people learn things today, no matter what your field is. So that is a huge contrast to how, like, what's the word? Nepotistic drag used to be, I think. In a way, it depends on the club. It depends on the scene. It depends on, you know, who's who and what their personal shit. But now anyone can really put drag on, practice it, look good, put a camera on, and get a following or do whatever.
Right.
And I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
I think there's this kind of outdated concept that like, oh, well, if you're not on stage working 3 nights a week for crowds, then like you're not worth my time or you're not a real drag queen or blah, blah, blah. And I think that's bullshit, obviously, because as long as you're giving what's supposed to be given, you know, like visually, personality-wise, and you have a point of view, you have a good name and you walk into a room and you're there. Yeah. To me, that's, you got it. Like,
well, what we were talking about earlier with COVID kind of transitioning everybody out of those spaces too, I saw a lot of people doing it, in collaboration with videographers or cinematographers, and they would do like a full-on kind of music video in drag. Yeah. So I saw that a lot.
And they have the live shows too.
They would have the live show like through Zoom and everything as well, which is, I think it's cute. It's accessible.
Absolutely.
And everybody, around the world can connect
especially
to it,
during COVID, every drag performer who did that benefited from it because it was, we didn't have stages to perform. I didn't do any of that, but I actually did a live, like a DJ live stream benefit, which was fun, like a Zoom dance party. Oh, it was so much fun, and we raised like $1,000 or something. It was cute.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but the drag stuff too. Yeah, with COVID, I love that things are becoming more
digitized.
Yeah, and it's I'm lucky that I have the background that I do with like digital art and graphic design, making visuals and stuff like that, like video editing. I've been doing that for years, what I went to college for. I'm so glad that I have that because now I'm able to kind of like bring that in and contribute to myself with those skills, produce my own stuff and work on that. And also just like knowing how to do things like make my own patterns on the computer and print them and stuff like that. So that's not so much new school, old school stuff. It's more just like drag is, what's the word? Multidisciplinary.
I was going to say it's like a fluid medium. Yeah. It kind of covers a lot of bases.
And that should be embraced. I guess that's what I'll say is that maybe people who are married to this younger or to the older generation should kind of embrace this changing landscape. Yeah. But again, too,
that's with any industry right now, though, too. Yeah. So there's always that group.
Again, too, though, you have to give like a certain kind of ultimate respect to performers who have been doing this for 10, 20 years or longer. There's performers who've been, especially in Asheville, I mean, we have a drag history here. These clubs are like iconic. Scandals and O'Henry's. I mean, they've been doing the drag thing before it was cool at all. So, and that they deserve ultimate respect for that. And I guess I just wanted to say that too. Yeah. That like I could learn so much from that hard road of like performing for 3 people at a club for like $100. Like, that takes balls, no pun intended.
Yeah. So were you born and raised in Nashville?
No, I was born in Los Angeles.
Okay.
My family moved to Winston-Salem when I was 5 because they just kind of wanted a new start. And I think they were looking at schools and they were like, not a good fit. I have a twin brother too.
Okay.
Fraternal twin. We kind of look alike, but not really. So when we were around that age, they were like, we're going to try something new. And Winston, I grew up in Winston I left, God, I'm trying to think. Yeah, 18. I spent most of my life there. I went to college at UNC Pembroke for a year, which is in Fayetteville. That was wild.
Okay.
That was my first time like out of the house and living like in a dorm room and stuff. And I just had a ball, but it was literally like the college was here, Walmart, the rest is literally like cornfields. It was like.
And from LA.
Yeah, but that's the thing too. I moved from California when I was young.
Yeah.
So I'm not like an LA type of bitch,
yeah,
but
okay.
my family is, what's that, West Coast kind of mentality. That does conflict with growing up in like a small town in North Carolina. That is a big culture shift. My mom tells me my first day of school, I come back, and she's like, Barry, how was your first day of school? And she goes, Mom. Or I go, Mom. I go, Mom, they say dog like dog. And I was like shitting myself over it. They talk so different. And I always just was so weird.
Yeah.
Like, I was just such a sore thumb, even up until my senior year of high school. I remember I was an art kid, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, you probably were too.
Yeah, I was.
You like an art class, like art
No,
four.
I went to an art school. Like, I've never seen
What school did you, in Florida?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was at the School of the Performing Arts in Orlando.
That's good. Good for you. So you had more, you were around art kids.
It was only art kids the entire school.
That sounds pretty chaotic.
It was really chaotic.
Yeah.
To this day, I think about it a lot.
Yeah. We had like 10 art kids, and so we were friends, but we had an art show. And the theme of the show was like, it's kind of like a carnival freak show theme. Yeah. So I dressed up as a pregnant man with like a pregnant, and I had like 10 like, what's the word? Like fake, like baby doll toys, like hanging from like in a chain, like on my body. And I literally wore a shirt that just had like pregnant dad on it.
I have photos of this.
I do. My friend does
put it in
really? Okay, I gotta ask my friend Laura. Shout out to Laura.
Maybe that'll be the icon picture of this episode.
I know, but see, even then, I always had this like performative thing.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, and I can't say it was received well, but I had a good time. So.
But not
Sorry,
received.
I keep banging the table.
It's okay. Not received well by who though?
Just the public at large, the fucking dumbasses that go to my high school. Like, half of them are like pregnant now anyway, so.
It was the future.
Yeah, I was like.
Oh my God, I don't even know where to circle back. Okay, trying to
not
circle
back.
Yeah, let's circle back. So
per my last email.
Yeah. So your college degree, you said it was new media?
Yeah.
I have to be honest, I've never heard of that major before.
Bachelor in Arts in New Media with a focus in video art.
Oh, okay, cool. And yeah, so that sounds pretty forward.
New Media is more of like a general. You can Google it and it will like give you a good.
It's definition.
It's kind of based in, what's the word? Like investigation and theory of how people produce and consume media.
Okay.
So, have you ever heard of the word like visual culture?
Yeah.
So it's kind of in that theoretical universe of like, why do we create what we create and why do we perceive what we perceive? Why do we associate these qualities with a certain gender? And how does that intersect with marketing?
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. So it's a little woo-woo. It is. Really what they should be doing at that program, they probably have changed it, but they should balance it out a little more with like technical skill.
Right.
I'm lucky because when I was in middle school, high school, I taught myself Photoshop, After Effects, everything. I was at a entry college level by the time I was in high school.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
After Effects is hard as fuck.
Oh, babe. I'm I don't want to toot my own horn, but I turn that shit out.
Toot your own. That's what this is for.
Okay.
That's,
toot.
Yeah.
No, I've been doing that. I got to link you to my website because I've produced like 3D animated music videos.
I was looking at your like 3D renderings earlier today, and I was like,
for the robot
shit.
thing.
Yeah. I was like,
I've made full on like 3-4 minute music videos for artists in
insane.
like the Netherlands, New York City, Los Angeles. Like I've done that shit. Granted, they were not like super well-paying gigs, but at the time, once I graduated, I told myself, I'm like, I'm gonna fucking do this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be. And I just wish I could talk to that person and just be like, look, it's good that you're busting your ass doing this, but you need to balance your expectation out a little bit. Like, I'm sure most artists or just photographers, people, creatives who've worked before have overextended themselves.
Oh yeah, all of them.
Yes, and it's a problem when it becomes a habit.
Yeah.
When it becomes you habitually being so excited about this opportunity that you are jumping 5 steps ahead and you're committing so much to your client, and really at the end of the day they just want you to do 100%. They don't need you to be living and breathing and dying. You know what I mean?
Honestly, most of the time a client doesn't really know the difference between 100% and 70%.
Exactly.
And like
that's a good point.
The 70% might be your sleep at night. So
yeah, and I wasn't doing that. And even with drag, I still do that. Like, I would rather finish this outfit and look amazing tomorrow than sleep 8 hours tonight.
Yeah.
Like, and sometimes it's worth it. Sometimes you really have to do that. But you have to make sure that it's aligned with you and your longer term goals. And that's something that's really worth looking at. That's a lesson I'm learning.
Yeah, no, I definitely, I struggle with the same thing. I'll edit something for like 10 hours, then I send it to somebody, and then I don't hear back from them for like 2 days, and I'm like, oh my God.
I know. That sucks too, because then you get into that cycle of like, is it good?
Is like, they just hate it.
Did they just like completely shit themselves and be like, fuck that? I've been there.
Okay, so we were talking about like media and consumption. How do you feel about like the representation with bigger shows like Drag Race and how it like portrays drag in the media? Do you feel like it's good, bad?
I think it's good.
Yeah.
I think at this point, Drag Race is such a huge platform, and I think they do a really good job of producing and editing performers to really package and help kind of market them in a way. Like, because at the end of the day, the producers of Drag Race are producing a show, Drag Race specifically. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Fine. Do you want me to start over?
You're good.
Okay,
No,
sorry.
You're fine.
I have a load in my throat. I'm single. Obviously.
I'll make sure to link all of your social media.
Oh my God. I do not have my face on my grinder. That's the thing. We got to talk about that too. Dating as a drag performer.
Oh my God.
So funny.
Actually, yeah. Okay, next topic. We'll finish this one and then go to next.
Yeah, I think Drag Race is an amazing platform. And I think that there's a lot of people who are critical of it as a reality show. That it's overproduced and blah, blah, blah. But I think it's amazing that these real life performers are getting this platform. And to see what they do after the show, season after season, it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I definitely have aspirations of being on the show. I really, really want to do it. I don't think I'm ready for it. I don't know what it takes to get to that level. Obviously, I think you need. Then they've written articles about this too. They've interviewed people who've been on the show, the loans that they've taken out to, produce these amazing garments, and all of the monetary and just time and dedication that goes into producing that image is out of this world crazy.
Yeah. I was going to say, I know a lot of people who do drag, at least in Miami, and that's a big complaint is that it's kind of like everything that they put into it financially, they're almost not receiving back from gig work and things like that.
That's great. That's why you gotta play the game, and you have to, it's like a business.
Yeah.
When you're working as a drag performer, you are a contractor. Like you are the business.
Yeah.
So you have to know how to get that return.
Yeah.
And how to cut corners. Like I'm really working on like, what is the brass tacks every month? What's going down here?
Yeah.
Easier said than done, I'm sure, for any contractor, anyone who's working for themselves, but it's a process and you learn it. I'd rather be doing this than working behind a desk for somebody.
My God, yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Like, it can be hard as, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
That's how I feel about overextending myself too, because I'm overextending something for myself that it's like the more I work, the more money I make, or the better I do with my work, and my projects get better, things like that. Whereas, if you're putting hours and hours into a day job, you most of the time you're not getting anything back out of it
and
that's really benefiting you.
You're investing time into that company, and it's just maybe that worked in the fucking 50s and 60s when you work somewhere for 40 years and it's just work for yourself, do your own thing, like life is too short.
Quit the day job, please.
I mean, do it in a good way, like make sure that you got your shit together and you're not on the street and stuff. But that's the thing too, like I had a lot of conflict with my family after I graduated about what my next step was. They were like, oh, move to Texas, that's like booming, blah blah blah, and this was right before COVID too. I almost did it. I'm so glad I did it. Hello. Okay. And I've always had this gut feeling. I'm like, no, like I cannot quell and just deny myself freedom. Like life is too fucking short.
Yeah.
And if I have to step on people's toes and make people uncomfortable and default on student loans, then I'm gonna do it. I don't care. Like I'm a young person too. Like I'm single. I don't have kids. Like I have that luxury of just saying fuck it. And if you have it too, take it. Yeah. I don't care how old you are, whatever. Like you deserve to do that inner work and have the time and freedom. Work at a fucking restaurant. Yeah. For a year. Yeah. Like make something happen for yourself outside of this paradigm of just like work till you die. Yeah.
Well, there's so many people who will work in, as a lawyer, as a doctor, and all these things, and then they'll retire and be like, what the fuck did I just spend my whole life doing?
Exactly.
Like, okay,
and then they start cross-dressing. And then they're on Craigslist, like, emailing people, and they don't even know how to pick a pair of pantyhose that, like, matches their skin tone.
So I want to get into dating as a drag
Oh my God!
You were the one that brought it up. Woo! That wasn't even on my list, and now
This has been a journey for me. It's so funny meeting. Okay, so about me, I'm attracted to men, and masculinity in general. I'll say that. Like, no matter what your gender is or your identity, whatever, if you're giving me that thing I need, you know what I mean, then I like it, I'm into it. So unfortunately, that means that in the mix of that, you get, and I'm sure too, like people out there who are used to dating guys, like cis guys or whatever, you sometimes get the ones who are just like dumb as shit, or who just don't have the like maybe self-awareness is the right word, or maybe a bit ignorant to complexities relating to gender or complexities relating to sexuality. So the attraction factor can be there, but there's also a lot of this like inner baggage and shit. You know what I mean?
Because they don't really expand on it. They kind of they land in one place and that's where they land.
I think
forever.
So. Well, also we live in a culture where men are not usually don't have a lot of environments or opportunities to be self-explorative or to like ask those questions and be vulnerable. Yeah. So I think that does account for like a lot of weird behavior that guys have. I'm not going to get into specifics, but like with people. But I've just noticed being in drag and kind of presenting as more feminine, and like I don't pad, I corset and stuff, but I'm very much me in drag in a way. Yeah. I just have big hair and makeup on. Yeah. And a costume, but it's still kind of me. Yeah. So it's a weird gray area. But I've met guys who are like really into the concept of me as this, and then also not, maybe they do realize, or maybe they're just ignoring the reality of the person behind the superficiality of it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Do you think that's also too like kind of like an internalized homophobia thing, where maybe they just think that they should be attracted to someone who's femme?
That's a good point. I'm trying to think. I think that in general, the men that I've interacted with, I'm not out here like dating everyone who comes to my show, but over time, I've met and entertained guys and stuff, and there's just this level of like curiosity. I'll say that, and that is something I think that makes the dating thing a bit difficult for me is that I don't want to be vulnerable and open up to someone who's just considering me as a an oddity, a curiosity, like someone, an open and willing person. And that might be a lesson that I have to learn. Like, I might have to learn to regard myself, especially in drag, as someone who can't necessarily be accessible in that way. Mm-hmm. Like, of course, I want to be connected with people and I want to socialize, but I think I should also be a bit more reserved when it comes to men. I don't know. It's hard because I'm like a slut and I love it.
I was kind of thinking the opposite of meeting somebody when you're not in drag, and then does that happen often where you meet them and then they see you in drag later?
Honestly, no. Okay. Because the way that my life is set up, and I think just how I am personally, my day-to-day life is very low-key. Mm-hmm. I like to look cute and stuff, but like I'm the bitch in Harris Teeter or the grocery store with like sunglasses on and headphones. I'm like,
nobody look at me or talk to me.
Yeah, which is kind of, I don't know. I like my alone time, especially because my work is dealing with people.
Well, yeah, you have to have a decompression period after everything.
And I think even out of drag, I identify as non-binary, so I'm a bit like, in the middle kind of vibes. But it's definitely something I want to give more time and consideration to for myself. Like, holistically, my life, I can't be devoting 100% of my time and attention to my drag persona. Yeah. Because that means, and this could apply to anyone's job. Yeah. Seriously. Because you're the one who's waking up, making breakfast, cleaning the house, doing, like, you need to pay attention to that person. Yeah. Because that person is what created your professional endeavor, persona, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Like, there has to be a balance there. Especially in relationships, because isn't that the point of getting in a relationship, is getting to know the person as a whole and relating to that reality of that person, and not just me mirroring you and showing you what you want to see. Exactly. That's a hard lesson that I just learned. Yeah. Woo!
I was like, oh my God, I'm going to just take that segment and just play it on repeat, like over and over.
Yeah. Like, I'm not, as much as I love to perform and make people happy and look cute and stuff, my life, I'm not here to make you happy.
Right. Would you ever date another queen?
Yeah, I think I would. As long as, I'm a little picky. I don't know. It depends on their vibe and what they're giving me. Yes. Like, some of my best friends are drag queens. I love it. And I just, drag to me, I look at it as just a, maybe not just, I don't want to say just, but the physicality of it and the hair and the lashes and the nails and the blah, blah, blah. Like, it's what you make it. Mm-hmm. There's some performers who identify as transgender who it's really just an amplified version of themselves. Mm-hmm. I think I'm more in that lane, but like I said, there's another side that is maybe a little bit realer, maybe not as fun and entertaining, and but there's still beauty in that, and that's where I'm at with it. I think. Yeah. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Kind of curious, I know you mentioned your parents at first about like what you're going to school for, and then kind of branching off and doing your own thing. Mm-hmm. Are they accepting of like what you do? And
I would say yes, they're accepting it.
They're accepting it.
Yeah, like, and I think it'll just kind of end there. Like, I'm not in contact with my father. I have a single mother who raised my brother, and I love her so much. Mm-hmm. That was an interesting conversation. And I think she took it pretty like, okay, that's fine. But I think also she's a bit more conservative, a little older. She's in her 60s now. Mm-hmm. So it's not, she doesn't have the same point of view that you or I might have about drag and how it's a burgeoning industry. Yeah. And as someone like me who is creative and who does all this stuff, like I could do anything with this, and over time I will kind of keep this ball rolling and something will manifest from it. I'm not exactly sure what, none of us know, but I know that in my soul and in my heart I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it took a long time for me to find that. But sometimes what you really are, what's really for you could be that thing that you keep telling yourself, I couldn't do that. I could never do that. Yeah. But you keep thinking about it for some reason, don't you?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Don't you, listener, or whoever,
No, I mean, I did the same thing. I did the day job thing for my whole life. I started working as a teenager, and that's how I bought all my gear.
You
and
worked
shit.
as a teenager?
I worked
You
I
pretended to be a teenager?
Worked. I was barely a teenager.
What did you do?
I worked my first job. I remember I was 15. I worked as an assistant in an electrical office.
Oh, that's good. I started my first job at 15 too. My mom made me.
Yeah.
She was like,
Yeah, no,
as
my
soon
mom.
as we turned 15.
I told my mom, I want a camera so bad. You know, like I want to take photography classes. She's like, you're gonna have to buy that shit.
Yeah.
I'm not.
She's
buying
like, you
that
better
shit."
get your ass out there and work.
She was like, with what money?
Exactly.
So here we are. I did the day job thing forever, and
Yeah.
then I was like, man, I could never quit my job. I could never just not have income, and then just did it one day and never looked back. So. It's definitely worth it.
The key to that is making money.
Yeah, you have to make money.
You can do whatever as long as you have that income stream coming in. Like, that's good. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So that's good to hear. Is your brother straight? Is your brother queer?
He's straight as far as
Straight?
I know.
Okay, that's cute. No, that's cute. I'm always curious. Some families, they have like a bunch of queer kids, and I love that.
Yeah, as far as I know, I'm the only one who knows. He's amazing though. He's a musician. He's great.
Oh,
very
cool.
talented.
Okay, so is that something that creativity runs in the family, or is it? Oh, okay.
All of my mom's children are singers, pretty much, or they have this musical bone. I'm a singer too. I produce music, everything. Like I do everything. But my brother is like he hates me talking about him, but he's like
too bad.
Ultimately talented musician, like savant. Like he could pick up an instrument and stuff, and he's really into synthesizers and like sound design right now.
Okay.
He's going to school at Berkeley College of Music. He's doing like their online program. Yeah. So yeah, everyone. I'm the only drag queen as far as I know in our family.
But that's cool that other people are creative, because I don't know.
Yeah.
My family, I'm like the one.
Yeah.
The weird one. So
I get it. I mean, I think it's good to have a family that sees the value of like creativity,
Yeah.
And that to see it as a fruitful endeavor. Mm-hmm. I hope that your family doesn't think that you're wasting time by investing.
No,
That's
I don't
good.
think so.
Because like there's families who are like super conservative. They're like, you're taking photography lessons. What?
Yeah,
I'm
I remember sitting in like the first kind of freshman orientation in college, and I went to school. I have a bachelor's in fine art, and I remember sitting in the room, and the person hosting it was like, "Okay, raise your hand if your parents basically like hate that you're here." And it was literally like almost the entire congregation raised their hand, and I was like, "Holy shit! Like, am I the only one that like people? It's just like very few people seem to be accepted for what they were doing, which is."
That's just anxiety though. Like older parents wanting their child to be successful on their terms, and that's a cycle that you have to break.
Yeah.
Young, I think, or you should. I mean, you can break it whenever, but it's just no. You have to let your children be self-actualizing, and even if you don't think the choice that they're making is appropriate or the safest or best at the time.
Yeah.
You have to let them
live,
and that's the thing too. What do they say? The success is built on failure. Yeah, basically, you have to let your children live and experience life, and don't fucking shelter them and make decisions for them.
Right.
I mean, I get it. If you have a 3-year-old, you got to do that, but at a certain point, it's
well, also too, I mean, I don't know. I think people just think success is money. So.
Yeah, that's not true.
No,
that's not true. You can have a lot of money and hate your life.
Yeah. I see that a lot.
Yeah. I have a lot of money. I love my life, so.
Good.
Yeah. I think also, before we go, everyone should try drag. Everyone should try either following a YouTube video or don't go asking like your gay friends.
So you're not the first drag queen that said this, and like I've heard one of my friends said the same thing. They're like, "How come you haven't tried drag?" I'm like, "Me?
Yeah.
Are you serious?"
Yeah, you were like, "Oh my god, I should have brought a wig here." I'm like, "You should have."
I was like, I feel so dull.
It's fun, and I love, like, here at 27, I love this community of people who come to these shows and just regulars here, because we embrace that kind of like, be who you want, dress how you want. Like, no one turns eye to that. Find those communities too. Like, if that sounds like something you'd really enjoy, there are so many opportunities out there in nightlife, or even if you're sober and you don't want, like, there's cosplay, there's everything. Like, dress it up, do something different.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, I'm gonna burp again. Oh, excuse me. Seriously, don't be like, I don't know, don't be normal. Like, think of embracing your inner, like, I don't want to say inner diva because that's so played out. Just your inner creator.
Your other personality.
Maybe other personality, but that's still you. You know, like
Yeah.
I don't know. Drag is all about augmenting what's real and turning it into like hyper real.
Right.
That's how I describe it. And that's a way to describe it in a way that's not binary or like related to gender specifically. Because obviously, like and everyone should know that drag does not just include like people like me looking feminine. There's like cisgender women who also do drag who are very feminine, or there's cisgender women who do a male drag that's a drag king. And then there's non-binary people who kind of do like an alien thing. Or
I was gonna say I see
like,
that now. Yeah, kind of.
Dragula, if you haven't heard of Dragula, it's a great show that highlights the more alternative styles of drag. It's amazing.
And that's always pretty concept based and character based.
Yeah, it's art.
Yeah,
it's
super
really
cool.
art. Like it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And the time and dedication, it's like, and it's entertaining too.
Yeah.
It's like if you like Skin Wars and shit, like like those kind of shows, I'm all about that. It's so cool.
I love that. So I do have one question that I've been asking everybody, or either forgetting to ask everybody, but I'm not going to forget.
Okay.
I am making a little playlist for
Okay.
all my listeners eventually.
Okay.
So I want your most listened to song right now,
Ah!
or your favorite song.
Really?
Or if you've got two to give
I already know what it is.
Okay.
So I am a huge R&B fan.
Okay.
Soul, R&B. I like a lot of 90s stuff, but I've been listening to some contemporary R&B lately. Can I do two?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody's actually done two.
Okay,
so
okay.
for sure,
That's cool.
For sure.
Okay, so I've also been going through, I've just been going through it recently. I'll just say that. I'm not even going to say anything.
We're in our feelings.
So I love that kind of like bitchy, vindictive R&B, like that really good songwriting, like FU basically.
Yeah.
So K. Michelle is the artist. The song's called Nightstand.
Okay.
And it's basically about like being self-sufficient and single.
It's like my
And,
anthem.
and fuck everyone, like all these people who are like trying to fuck me or like they won't fuck me.
Basically fuck everyone but me.
My exes, fuck them. So it's called Nightstand.
Okay.
The other one, oh my God, my favorite artist to come out last year. Her name is Money Long. Money spelled M-U-N-I.
Okay.
L-O-N-G. And she has this album. It's so beautiful. It's called Public Displays of Affection. And my favorite song on there is called Cartier, like the jewelry brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. Also Time Machine. What's the other one? Plot Twist. It's like, do you like R&B?
I do.
You have to listen to her.
I haven't heard of them.
She's the one that does Hours and Hours.
Okay.
Yours, mine, ours.
No.
I could do this for
Oh my
hours.
God, I'm under a rock. No, I haven't heard of it.
It's like, it went viral last year.
Okay.
Yeah, you should. Public Displays of Affection by Money Long. I love her
Cool.
so much.
Cool. No, I'll add them. I'm interested at the end of this year to have my little characters displayed in this playlist. It's going to be a roller coaster.
I would love to listen to it. That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's going to be cute. So, unless you have anything else that you wanted to bring up or talk about.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no,
This
I'm
has been
honored to
fun.
be your first interview ever.
Yeah, first interview ever done. I hope this isn't me being like a chatterbox the whole time.
No, I loved it. No, it was awesome. I loved listening to you.
It was fun.
All right, you guys. Well, this has been the Little Art Studio podcast with Ganymede, and I am excited to hopefully see you perform in the near future.
Yeah, I'm actually hosting karaoke right now, so maybe you'll
Yeah, I don't
Will
know.
you?
I don't know about that, but thank you all for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.